it's, I can remember the very first thing I ever bought on the internet was I went on and somebody was selling a bookcase at home that I wanted for home. And I bid for it on, I think it was eBay or before eBay, but that was what it was. And only to find out that it was from some dealer up in Camden, not Camden, Bangor.
Yeah.
But I didn't see him advertise that anywhere. It was on the web, and that has been a huge change in the way that people find what they're looking for.
Sure. At all different levels.
At all
too.
levels. You look at the really high-priced. I was reading a story the other day. I was editing a story that was about paintings in New York, millions and millions. They had so many people in the room, and they had internet access from Russia, from Paris, from England, and those people bid and won some things. Wow. It opens the whole world to you, and that's what happened to that's why they're not these little shops up and down, although they're great fun, and they're here, and you love to go in and, oh, that's a nice little box or table or whatever, but their actual market is worldwide, no matter where they are.
I remember reading not that long ago that Lee Kino, we all know who Lee Kino is, he was just online one day and came across a piece that was being advertised for auction in Louisiana. And whatever the information was that he could derive from that, he then told his assistant, this sounds like a good piece, go up to X amount of dollars and purchase it.
Yeah.
And he did so, and when that piece came up to the stage, it started auctioning, and his reserved bid kept it going, and then all of a sudden, around $50,000 or so, a lot of people dropped out. Now there's just one or two, and then himself bidding, and eventually, I think it realized after the seller's commission or whatever, I think it realized something like $781,000. And had he not seen that online, somebody else would have gotten it.
Somebody else would have gotten it. That is not an unusual story, because all of these people, both on the local level, I want a new bookcase level, or Lee Kino's level, which is way up there, everybody goes on the web and looks. And all the auction houses and the big dealers and little dealers, they put something up there. They want a presence on that web. The dealers that advertise in our paper now, for a few extra dollars, they go up on our website and with pictures, and those pictures are viewed, and they buy from them. They don't have to have the paper. They just buy off the web.
We were talking earlier, and you mentioned how when you started the magazine, it just felt like it was the right thing to do. Okay. And that you didn't think Sam was ever particularly surprised at its success.
I don't think he was. He was a very confident person. And when we started it, I could remember it was just a lark. But we said, well, we can't, if it doesn't work, if something happens, we can always quit. Yeah. But we think it'll work. And he thought it would work. And we were delighted the first time, we had a big bank account, or so-called big bank account. But it just kept growing, and people kept telling us it's good, and they kept saying, I have to read this paper, and we just felt that it worked, and he was not really surprised, because that was him. He did a lot of other things too, as we were the staff then, and we did everything. Well, now we have 19 other people who do the basic work, and of course our son is the editor and all this. But he had more time eventually, and he did things like run for the school board and was the head of the school board for a few years, and that was he just loved it. He went into the school board with the same enthusiasm, fought those people so that they would build a new school, and just fought them tooth and toenail because they didn't want to pass the budgets, and you have to educate the kids. He just got totally caught up in it.
And wasn't he on the board for the Lincoln County Public Access Channel?
Oh, yes. That was his, oh, he loved that. He and Art Mayers, he was on the board first, and then he and Art Mayers were just friends in the community. They did this weekly news show.
Finally, what I wanted to ask you, we don't want to take too much of your day up here. What I wanted to say is, I notice you're still working.
Oh, yes. I can't quit.
And you've obviously made the transition to computers.
Reluctantly. And I still have to go back to my son or my daughter and say, wait a minute, I'm all boxed up here. You know, what do I do next? It doesn't come easy, but we had to go to computers when computers became the thing to do. And I remember telling Sam, you can't even type. Why do you need a computer? But he knew, he could see that that's where we had to go. And now, of course, everything, we produce the pages here and we shoot them across the air. You know, we don't carry pasted up pages the way you used to. But we learned how. I mean, that's how, when we started, it was paste them on the page and, you know.
Cut and paste.
Cut and paste. Mm-hmm. And it was good to know how to do that because it just came, but now we're all totally computerized.
What's your favorite part of still working for the magazine?
Getting out of the house, I think. Yeah. You know, it's, for me right now, since Sam's death I'm not quite over that yet, to have a job that you really need to get up in the morning and go to. It would be very simple to just dissolve in grief and think, oh, you know, my poor, pitiful widow here. But you have to get up and go to work. And it's the best thing in the world for you. Yeah. Also, we have a wonderful staff. Two of our people, and they're not here today because we just put the issue out and the graphics people take a well-deserved day off. But one of our graphics people has been with us from, I think, the second year we started. She worked at the Courier and we stole her away. So these are very nice people that work here, both those who are kin to me and those who we've just hired through the years. And they're pleasant to work with, they're good at their jobs, and it's a pleasant atmosphere. And that's what I like about it. You know, if I were, I don't know, doing dumb, dull things, and I get to read all the stories and read about all these wonderful things that are happening in the antiques world, and I still like antiques. That's what I like about coming to work here.
That's wonderful.
It's a very, you really should have a job to go to if you're trying to get over losing someone that you've lived with for 50 years. Yeah. It helps.
Well, I'm sure Sam would be very proud of you.
Well, you know, we always did it all together. Yeah. It was, we never, I don't say we never fought. We fought like cats and dogs sometimes. But we did it all together. And we always felt like we were together. I used to threaten Sam, you know, I'm going to leave here next winter. Why don't we leave? And he kept saying, I'm right where I want to be. We lived down on the river, built a house there, and he said, I'm right where I wanted to be, on the banks of the Madama River, and I'm not leaving.
Good for him.
It was great. We had a wonderful marriage.
That's terrific.
You know.
We really appreciate your time.
Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.